one up there again, man. You got to find that new one. That old one looks tacky. See, look at that.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. All right, we can start. Are you ready to record?
Yes.
Actually, let's wait and do that right before we go on the air, so I don't have to do so much editing.
Okay.
All right, now I need to get Facebook up down here or Twitter. I wonder if I should put my show notes and stuff right here instead of up there. What looks better, me looking over here, da 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 da, or me looking there, da 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 da?
Look to your right.
So, David, I know someone who wants to work, and now I don't have an idle. Or, unable to connect. Firefox can't establish connection.
I like the first reading better.
No, but which looks better? I don't care about the sound. Oh, it does. Oh, okay. Like a river flows. So I'm recording the Cubs game. So nobody better, in the chat room. You are not. Well, there's no one in there right now because everybody's watching either football or the Cubs game. So I don't need to be on Twitter. I just need to be on Facebook so I can message you if I need to tell you something. And hope Facebook doesn't update me on scores with the game. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you agree. All right. So did you add Miriam and all them to the feedback document?
Yeah, here I am. I saw hers.
I think there was one more.
Before her was Daniel?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah. Daniel.
Gosh, I've got to adjust. This is driving me nuts. My second monitor is below me, but I have it set up so it's to the right. So I keep wanting to scroll down my mouse when I'm up here, and that doesn't work. I've got to go over there to go over here. It's stupid.
So what, we've been doing this 6 years, and you still don't have it right?
We have not been doing this 6 years. We've been doing this 4 years, 3.5 years.
Really?
2012, all of 2012, all of 2013, all of 2014, all of 2015. Wow. And half of 2016. We've been doing it 5 years. Holy smoke, David.
I was close.
Gosh.
Doing this 5 years and you still don't have it right.
Yeah, I guess not. All right. I got all my stuff done. Jay was an alternate for Co-Wrong. Really? I did not know that.
I heard Scott Pollard in an interview talking about how he saw Jay.
Mm-hmm.
But he saw him, so he was an on-site alternate for Co-Wrong.
Oh, there you go. Dude, man, you and I are the only ones in the chat room. There's like no one's here tonight.
Watching baseball.
Wow.
Fine, we'll just close down the chat room.
It is kind of weird, doing this for nobody. It's like the old days.
There might be some. Oh, Dave Holdsworth is there.
No, he's not.
We just couldn't see him.
Oh, well, why don't I see you in there, David? David H.
He's working from the shadows.
David H. All right, let me get this ready. Let's see. Episode 5, show notes. All right. Well, I'll put that there while I'm reading it. All right, man. You ready? Do you have anything I need to know? Did you change anything in the show notes?
No, I didn't even look at the show notes.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Because I trust your work.
Yeah, okay. But you need to know what's coming up. Take a quick glance. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy, yummy. You know what's cool about our buffs, David? Cool that we get these awesome buff stickers with them.
Yeah.
Well, they're stickers. I have them on the back of my laptop. Yeah, see, look.
Oh, they are?
See my laptop?
Oh.
No, you can't see it.
Nope.
Well, I'm not going to adjust it so you can. All right, it is time to go live. So let's record. I just hit record. Did you hit record?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Record. Oh, that was nice. Couldn't hear you at all. All right, here we go. It's an even number.
Hey there, it's Aubrey Bracco from Survivor Co-Raw. Grab some giant clams, pick some mangoes, sit back and relax with Dwaine and Dave on Survivor Talk with D&D. With Survivor knowledge this tasty, we're sure you'll make it through the whole show, just as long as Mark the Chicken.
Oh yeah, welcome to Survivor Talk with D&D. Just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. My name is Dwaine, and I'm here with my aforementioned best friend, David. How was your day, David?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was my Friday, so it was actually really good.
How is it your Friday? It's Thursday.
I have every other Friday off.
I know, but it's Thursday.
So today was my Friday because tomorrow is the start of my weekend.
Oh, now I get what you mean.
So we've been doing this for 5 years, and
shut up. I didn't know what you meant by today is my Friday. So you meant today was my last day of the week. Normally Thursdays.
Last day of work week.
Normally Thursdays are the last day of my week, but I'm on call tomorrow, so I get to go in the office.
No, I was on call last week. I'm good. Drive to Longwood tomorrow to pick up Gracie.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be good.
Bring her home for a birthday party.
How long has she been away to college?
The 18th of August.
And how many times have you seen her since she went away to college?
Probably 3 times.
Yeah, that's way too many. You need to just let her go.
I know.
Just let her go. Okay. All right. So it's not you.
I did the same thing for Bailey. I did the same. Well, she's come home twice because she got rides. No, she came home once because she had a free ride.
Yeah.
And then we went up there because she was part of a play in her theater department. And then this time it's just she misses me. I mean, us. Yeah, she misses us. That's what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe she's watching tonight. Actually, everybody's watching the baseball game or the football game. In fact, I'm recording the baseball game, and we'll start it when I get done here. So. If you're in the chat room, please do not give away the baseball scores at all. Tonight, we're talking about episode 5, Idol Search Party, and we're going to read, listen to, and discuss your thoughts on the show as well. Again, David, a poor title for the episode. How about Alliances Schmalliances? I mean, no one said it.
I mean, I'm going to choke you out and throw you across the over approach.
There you go. But anyway.
Party? Is that what the title was?
Yeah, it's like, I guess Cece was going home, so they wanted to give her a show title. I guess.
Give her extra points on the way out.
Yeah. Oh, well. Thanks for listening, everybody. Watching, subscribing, sharing, and supporting our shows. Of course, we do this one, Survivor Talk with D&D, Movie Talk with D&D, and Stranger Things with D&D. Check out our website, stwdd.com, for blogs and other great stuff. Also, join our always fun Facebook group for daily Survivor discussion. If you're watching live, join the discussion in the chat room. Right now, it's me and David. So, which was a great group from the 80s, David and David. It's time for... All right, David. So I bought a monitor that has more screen space on it so that stuff isn't all crammed in together. So my notes are right there. So you're going to see me look over.
Going to lead into an initial reaction. I didn't realize you were just talking about stage setup or something.
No. I was talking about stage setup and stuff. So, but I am proud to announce that my prediction that I made in our D&D extra video with Andy Baker was spot on about the show map, how the show was going to progress. I'm just saying. I am correct so rarely that I just wanted to take a moment and, pat myself on the back.
I wish I could enjoy this part of the conversation, but I don't recall what you're talking about.
I said they were going to show us the night of tribal. Then the next morning they were going to show them searching for an idol. And then we were going to go immediately to the tribe swap. And then we were going to go to each tribe. And then we were going to go to the immunity challenge. And so I called all that. Because there was some discussion.
After 33 seasons of Survivor, that was pretty good that you got that right. Why do you have to
be so condescending to me and so mean?
I'm sorry, David? You're right. You predicted that. You picked this shuffle swap. You were spot on.
Well, the reason why is because
what else were they going to do?
No, it was up for discussion of when was Jessica and Ken cuddling and stuff, and so fine, go ahead. Diminish what I thought was amazing. Go ahead, do it again. Say it again.
It's I'm in awe of your greatness that you predicted what would happen exactly. Did you predict Cece going home?
Oh, shut up! I don't even want to talk to you. Although we have to because we have a show together. Is it possible that David, who I am growing more and more annoyed with every single episode, is it possible that he could get any skinnier? He is so skinny that his head is beginning to look disproportional to his body.
I got it mixed up with the buoy a couple times.
Do what, David?
The buoy. I got his head mixed up with the buoy a couple times.
Well, yeah. He has gotten, believe it or not, 12 days in, and that guy's lost 50 pounds. So that's all I'm saying. I have two more initial thoughts. Do you have any?
The biggest thing that I had a lot of initial thoughts when it was over, but the only one that really stuck with me was missed from the theme was passion behind the rivalry. What makes every great rivalry good is history. Between the Yankees and the Red Sox, Redskins and Cowboys, different teams, Lakers and Boston or other teams. There's a history. There's passion behind it. People really care. And even though people need to play the game to win, whether you stay with Gen X or you move to Millennial or vice versa, there's still, when you push a theme like this, last season between the strength or the brain and the beauty, there was passion, there was jiving. There just doesn't seem to be the passion between the two of them. It's like nobody's really fired up about doing it. I'm over the Jay forced confessionals. I like Jay. And I think they're making him do confessionals for like 5 minutes until they get the confessional they want of him talking down about Gen Xers. I'm over that. That one confessional was ridiculous. And I guarantee you it wasn't his first line.
So
go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. No. So you're tired of his beating up on the Gen Xers, not so much him.
Well, I'm tired of it feeling fake.
Oh, okay.
Feeling like they're trying to force the issue, even with the you texting thing. It just seemed like they were trying to make a fight when they're like, nah, we're not really. Yeah, they're older than us. Yeah, they're younger than us. Yeah, they got jobs. We just want to live free. We just want to play Survivor. Yeah. But they just keep driving on you got to hate them or you got to disrespect them and stuff. And I'm just kind of over that. I was ready for the swap, like mix them up and let them make them play together.
After episode 1, you were ready for the swap.
After episode 2, when one of each was gone, let's mix them up.
All right. Well, my next initial thought is like Jay is like Ozzy, only 2.0 or something. The guy is amazing out there.
He is.
I mean, okay, so you don't like his confessionals, but the dude can build stuff. and the dude is smarter about the game than people gave him credit for to begin with. And the guy is a killer in challenges.
Okay, I didn't say I didn't like his confessionals. What I said was that one confessional I felt was forced, and I felt they drove it out of him until he finally said what they wanted him to say.
Well, but
put that in a different way. So, yeah,
you have a point, because every single one of his confessionals, he's down in the Gen Xers.
Or he's talking about how Figgy and Taylor are not being smart the way they're playing, and that's what I want to hear. Right. That's the stuff I want to hear. And instead, it's like, we need another confessional about Gen Xers. We didn't talk about the Gen Xers this week. We need you to talk about. Oh, we got Brett, we got Sunday sitting back, letting Jay do most of the work. Hey, if Jay knows how to do it, let Jay do it.
Yeah.
Confessional was they're just sitting back, not doing anything. They're supposed to be hardworking. You can't be hardworking if you're not sure what you're doing. And maybe they were just hands building the other shelter. They're going to be hands building this. It doesn't mean they're not Gen Xers if they don't know how to build a shelter. Jay does. So I just felt it was contrived. It was just forced, that one confessional. And it's like, come on, the episode was flowing. Let it flow. Let's don't keep harking back on this one little, oh, don't you dislike him because he lives in Alabama? Well, yeah, but he lives in Virginia. I don't care. He should live. Oh, no. You got to dislike each other. Say something bad about Alabama. I'm just, come on. Go back to Jay being smart. I like Jay talking about numbers and talking about power couples not being smart. Let's go back to that.
All right. How was that soapbox? Because it sounded like you enjoyed it. Do you feel better now? That was awesome.
I feel a little better.
All right, good. All right,
Thank you for letting me do
trivia about Ikabula. Do you know what? Do you already know this?
No, I was thinking the college cheer, but it's Bula Bula, isn't it?
No, yeah, Bula Bula.
Okay.
No, it is the first survivor tribe to have its name begin with the letter I.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
I know. See, my wife figured that out for me. We were looking up the meanings of the tribe names, which I'll go over in just a little bit. And she goes, by the way. So, all right. Do you have any more?
Did she look it up, or how does she know that?
She just knew it. She's just that amazing.
Okay, because we'll find out if there's another tribe for the past 32 seasons.
Yeah, we're about to find out, because Mike K is in the chat room, so I'm sure he will correct me if I'm wrong. Which is fine, but I don't think I'm wrong, because Connie got it off of Survivor Wiki. Wiki. All right, are you ready for night 12? All right, David, I saved someone who no one wants to work with, and now I don't have an idol. What in the world did I do?
We're asking the same question.
Oops. It's like he had 2 hours to think about it, before he got back to camp, because they're not allowed to talk or anything. And he gets back to camp. He's like, oh crap. And then, I'm sorry, but to make it worse, all right, the nerd gives the cheerleader all the answers to the test, and so she passes 10th grade. And to say thank you, she goes out with the football player. Jessica going to Ken, I'm going to give you my legacy idol. And David's probably going over there going, what?
At the viewing party with David last night, as he watched Jessica cuddle up to Ken and thank him for trusting her again, and gets back in the game as he sits pulling the lint out of his pockets, because there used to be an idol in there, and now they're nice and empty.
It's like, I saved you, and you're thanking me by cuddling with Ken.
Yeah, I love that. I saved somebody who no one really wants to work with. And I liked what he said in the beginning. He goes, y'all can yell at me now if you want to or not. And Chris goes, I'm just curious. Why the dramatics? Why did you make a big deal out of it? And I'm curious about that. Andy wrote about that in his blog. It was a very dramatic thing to get up and say, can I speak on this? And Probst is always going to give a podium to somebody that wants to speak.
Oh, yeah.
If they don't like it, they'll just edit it out.
Right.
So he'll definitely give that. But I love that. Let's just say about Ken. David trusted in him to tell him about his idol. Jessica now trusts in him again to tell her about her advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's sway. He's got social sway with people. And maybe it's because, usually don't necessarily tell somebody on the bottom. You usually tell somebody in power that you want to take you with you. Or you just try to align with him. He's been on the bottom, so that's...
But Jessica was also feeling emotional. She just got saved from being eliminated by David.
Flat out.
So she needed to express her feelings. So who better to do that with than David? I mean, Ken.
Guy that voted for her.
Yeah, the guy that voted for her.
Yeah.
Do you see the irony here? I mean, this
David
is so
does.
hilarious.
Sees the irony here.
It's so typical.
Wow, I could have. No, I could have one idol. We want to get the other idol, but still.
And now I don't have two. Now I don't have an idol, and the girl is with the other guy.
The girl is with the other guy, and this guy, he's saying, I just blindsided him twice. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm not a football. I'm a person.
Yeah. Miriam is not in the chat room right now, but I guarantee you, as Jessica laid her head delicately upon Ken's muscly chest, Miriam paused the show and went out and ran a couple blocks around the block, a couple of times around the block, in pure frustration. All right, so that was interesting. That was interesting.
Well, it also set us up for, we had a couple setups for what's going to happen with the swap. Wow, Jessica really needs Ken. Ken could do well to keep with Jessica if they get on the same tribe. So that was a nice little setup. But man, David and Chris, I hope they're not on the same tribe. He's going to ring it. Oh, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Day 13, Gen X decides to search for the idol. And because we haven't had enough David, David finds the idol. Mr. 112 points in the D&D Survivor Challenge.
It's a huge advantage that the guy knows where they're hidden. So my question is, why was he searching by himself? Boston Rob would never have allowed him to search by himself for that idol. Somebody would have been assigned to David to not let him out of their sight.
Yeah, but they weren't thinking that way, but they should have been thinking that way, and they weren't, because he definitely had an advantage. He knew exactly what to look for.
Mm-hmm.
So
because we don't know if he told anybody. If he's smart, he obviously didn't tell anybody what to look for. But right. I found it amazing that Dave knows what the sound of an idol is like inside a log.
Well, hey.
One time he said, "Yep, that's the sound of an idol inside of a log."
That's right.
It's amazing.
Well, he's a smart fella. His head's bigger than his body.
There's like a cartoon of that. I'm trying to think of which animated cartoon that is. I shouldn't. But anyway,
there was that one confessional though, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy has lost weight already."
His jacket goes around twice now. But and you know what? You know who's happier than David right now? The people looking at the tapes. Because this guy having an idol is magic for this season. They were so ecstatic that this guy got another idol. That's just what we need.
Yeah. You know how sometimes people say they watch an episode and they're not enjoying it. I enjoyed the episode, but I was frustrated because I'm tired of David getting all the breaks. I mean, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm tired of him getting all the breaks. All right, tribe swap.
Because he's not getting points for your tribe, or
no, it has nothing to do with that. I don't even pay attention to that, to be honest with you. I don't know where I am. No, it's somebody that's, in my opinion, well, he's just getting lucky, like over and over and over and over again, and it's
it goes back to the first episode where he takes off looking for the idol, and everybody's just watching him look for the idol.
Yeah, and it's almost a. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he's paranoid about it, so he went looking for it. Everybody could have gone looking for it. We don't know if he looked more than anybody else, but at the same time, he found it.
Okay, yeah. And then later on in the show, he gets lucky again, and it was almost at the expense of Michelle, who's playing hard and, isn't getting super lucky. But anyway. All right, so we have Ikabula, the green tribe, right there. Nice. I love that. That's probably my favorite buff so far.
Cool.
It has 3 millennials in it.
Yeah.
Do what?
Green.
Yeah, I know.
It actually has 4 millennials in it, but go ahead.
That's what I'm sorry. It has 4 millennials in it. Michaela, Hannah, Jay, and Will. Boy, that's a stacked tribe right there.
Is Will now Lucy?
He didn't say anything, did he? And then 2 Gen Xers, Sunday and Brett. And so that's an interesting tribe. It may be named after a reef in the Fiji Islands. There is. That's what we found out. All right. Then you have Takali. It has 3 millennials and 2 Gen Xers. So Adam, Taylor, and Figgy, and Jessica and Ken. And Takali is an exclusive. Check this out. It is the name of an exclusive private villa in Fiji, the most exclusive and expensive villa in the South Pacific. Check that out.
Wow.
Then the Vanua is Gen X heavy with Cece, Chris, and Dave with Zeke and Michelle. And it means island or home.
Now I understand why. I wrote down my very first note is I love that the first shot is a shot of the Takali tribe flag. The first night after tribal council, they give us the Takali tribe flag and they're telling us, learn it. Tribe names going forward.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm still orange, green, and purple. That's fine with me. At the 3 new tribes real quick.
All right.
And let's just break them. You and I are experts at this. So we're going to.
No, I'm not, but go ahead.
But let's look at, let's go purple first. With Figgy, Taylor, Adam, Ken, and Jessica. Are Ken and Jessica really in trouble before we even get to the island, before we even get to the camp? Do you think they're really in trouble?
No, because
not with Adam.
Sorry. Right.
So, no, sorry. I didn't know if you were going to let me answer or you going to answer for it. Go ahead.
No, they're not, because Adam was not up there with Taylor and Figgy, so Adam could go either way.
So that is a perfect setup for us as fans. I am totally agree with you. What about Orange? Where you've got Zeke, Michelle, you got Dave and CC, then you have Chris.
Well, that was not sure until they got to the island. So at first I wasn't sure how that was going to pan out.
Yeah, well, I kind of had the same feeling as I did with Purple, where I thought if Chris still wants to zap somebody or wring somebody's neck, he could be the middle person, which I thought was perfect for him. So that could be a really interesting tribe. Plus, you've got 2 really, I think, smart people in Zeke and Michelle. If anybody can break up those 3, it's those 2 people. I really like that setup. Right. And then you got the green tribe, which I kind of just threw away.
Kabula.
I feel bad for Brett and Sunday because I feel like they're just going to be 1 chop, 2 chop if they lose. But I don't know who from Millennials or from the I was going to want to work with them. It's going to take a lot of work, I think, from Sunday and Brett, unless they win. They do have Jay and they got Michaela, 2 of the strongest challenge people out there.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to, though, because neither Sunday nor Brett are leaders in their tribe. And Brett made that all the more obvious during tonight's episode. He is a follower, not a leader. He is a tell me what to do and I'll do it type of guy, which isn't a bad guy. But when you put him with a Jay, Jay's a I'll tell you how to do it, and I'll, lead you. And then Sunday, we haven't ever seen her as leading. Anytime she's with Jessica, Jessica's kind of leading. And so they're not going to have the initiative to make anything happen because they're not leaders. So, yeah.
Rock solid, yeah. Those 2 are in trouble.
Right. So there you go. Boy, Taylor is whipped, didn't he?
Yeah, it's like he's degenerating a little bit. He's like dissolving into just a puddle of flirts.
To a puddle of middle school, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Middle school testosterone introduction or something. He's just like
middle school goo.
You're so hot. You're so hot.
But what did you think of? What about Michaela throwing
that was awesome
on the ground?
I love Michaela.
That's passion.
I hope she's
passion
playing
I want to
next
see
season.
in this season. She's fighting the season. I love that passion, the attitude. She didn't care.
Oh yeah, you didn't do this right.
This is wrong. Yeah. We're doing it again. Everybody, roll your bus back up because we're doing this again.
Yeah,
this is
she
not
threw it on the ground. Like everyone else is like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Yeah, whatever."
No, everybody's doing a meet and greet, and she's just standing there glaring at Jeff. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you didn't do this right, Jeff. Just saying. Yeah,
I'd flip you off right now if I thought he'd make the game.
That's right. But then, I like the it's kind of rough for them, but Ikabula has to start from scratch. And if you've been out there for 12 days, this is your 13th day, and you're told you get to go start over. I mean, you had already gotten into a routine. You had where you like to sit. You had the campfire the way you liked it. You're literally, it's not just building a new shelter. It's getting into a whole new routine again from scratch, from nothing.
Yeah, and I'm really glad they didn't go the way Andy was thinking and send a 16th person to an exile island.
Right.
I'm so glad they didn't do that. It's bad enough you get taken off your beach where like you said, you've got your chair all set up. Then you have to go off by yourself. Right. I mean, it's unlucky enough to get put on in the minority on a tribe where there's more people against you than with you, but it'd be even worse to be sent off by yourself. It just takes somebody out of the game. So I'm so glad they didn't follow that, and they did it the way they did it. Gave the extra person. It also gave them a slight advantage in the challenge where they could pick 5 out of 6 people. Right. You know, instead of having to go with just the 5 they got. If they don't get to eat and they don't get to rest, they still get to pick the 5 strongest people that can do the best in the challenge.
And yet they set out an 18-year-old guy.
I have no idea why they did that.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But, you know, we need to tell our listeners, listen, Andy Baker, of course, we have our bloggers on our website. You already know about them, right? And you go and you read them. But you need to read Andy Baker. And he's at truedorktimes.com. Truedorktimes.com. I know it doesn't sound like it has anything to do with Survivor, which is probably part of the problem, but go out there and read him. It's called The Baker's Dozen. All right. Absolutely great. I mean, you love him when he's on the show. His articles, his blogs are just amazing. So,
and while you're there, read Jeff Pittman's recap and then read Pat Verucci's psychology recap. That's
just, you know what? Just, these are your 2 stops: Survivor Talk with D&D and truedorktimes.com, and then wherever else you go. So, and of course, if Steve Helling's writing anything, you got to go to his. And I don't think he's written anything this season, has he?
I don't know if he is.
I don't know, because usually he posts it if he does. Anyway, we just wanted to give a shout out to Andy. He was great on our D&D extra video, and I just wanted to give a shout out to him.
So what I was looking for was who got the short end of the stick and could they handle it? I worry about Brett and Sunday. I was not worried about Zeke and Michelle. I was looking forward to seeing what Zeke and Michelle would do.
Yeah.
Given any foundation for Brett and Sunday. So I just didn't know what they were going to be able to do.
Somewhere. Oh, yeah. Okay. I have it later on, but I have who did the swap help and who did the swap hurt? But I have that after we talk about the 2 days. Do you mind?
Okay. Well, our first evaluation was who do we think?
Okay.
And then,
all right. So day 13, Ikabula, the Green Tribe. Brett wants to prove he's worth keeping around. But really, you know, if it wasn't for Jay being there, I don't know. Okay, if Brett didn't have someone there that is a naturally strong leader, then he would probably rise to the occasion. But his personality is such that when Jay's around, he's like, oh, okay. And he's a real good doer. So Jay's around, so he's teaching him a few things. So I thought that was fun to watch.
Well, and I'm in the minority by a 4-2 margin.
Yeah.
Apple I've ever seen in my life.
That's right. It's a big old apple, man.
I'm addicted to apples here lately. I don't know why. If I'm Brett in the minority of 4-2 tribe, eating nothing. I ain't stepping up to lead nothing. I'm going to follow the strongest alpha on that team, and I'm going to do what he says and stay close to him as much as possible.
Okay.
I don't know if Brett was doing that.
All right.
Faking it. He was faking it well. But at the same time, I'm not going to throw my ideas out there unless we're down to nothing. You know, I'm sure Brett was trying to do the fire when they were doing the fire scene. Mm-hmm. But if Jay comes out and says, hey, when we had our camp, we did this, and this, I'd say, tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do it.
Okay. That's a different perspective.
Alpha. So if I'm Brett, I don't know if he was doing that, but if I'm Brett and I'm in this huge minority, I'm telling Sunday, let's just follow along and do what they want, and hopefully we find a crack or find a way in.
Okay. Well, it's just that he had said, I like that perspective, and it certainly could be it. It's just that he said, I want to prove myself and I'm worth keeping around. But, you know, right. But he could have said that and thought your way of thinking, so I'm going to be available to help.
Well, and if we get into a challenge where there's one person at the end throwing a ball at a bunch of blocks, I'm probably not volunteering, even though I used to be a pitcher. You know, if I'm Brett, I'm not volunteering to be the hero. I'll let Jay be the hero, and we win.
Lesson.
Got round camp.
Lesson: don't try to eat eat an apple during the podcast. It takes a little while.
If you think it's a banana, you've got more problems.
Oh, shut up.
It does. Well, I don't eat the skin. I cut the skin off and go for the other part.
You don't eat the skin of an apple?
Nah, it takes too long.
What do you mean it takes too long? You just bite it and eat it. You know what
I like
else
to
I
peel
eat that a lot of people don't eat?
What?
First of all, I don't peel a banana the way humans do. I peel it the way gorillas do. I peel it from the small end, right? And then you don't get all those little strings on it instead of from that lever at the bottom. But when you do that, there's that little black nipple thing at the top, it's like this knob, and everybody says, throw it away. No, man, I eat it. Oh yeah. That's all that more nutrition.
Okay. So you associate yourself more with gorillas.
Yes.
Humans. I understand that.
All right.
That's fine.
Takali, day 13. Ken gives a tour of the camp in his melancholy, calm way. Can you imagine? Hey guys, you want me to give you a tour of the camp?
Of course, Figgy is yes. Yes, let's see. This is a great swap to me. These are the two people you want coming in that want to see a tour of the camp. Figgy and Taylor. If it's Michaela and it's somebody else, Michaela's like, no, where's the food? Where's the water? Just show me that stuff and let's do that. Whereas Ken is becoming more sociable, whereas he wasn't in the beginning, but he sees an opportunity. Jessica's like, whatever Ken says, I'm in because I'm going to trust him from now on. So, and then Adam's just like, whatever. I got an idol. I'm safe for now. But yeah, this was almost I love how the tribes formed because it gave us all kinds of good personalities and setups. And this was good for Ken and Jessica. This is what they needed. Michelle and Zeke got a chance. Ken and Jessica got a chance. And I love this setup. Perfect people to work with because Adam is more willing to consider his options now than just go.
Oh, absolutely. And Taylor, and I'm being funny, but I'm also being serious. Taylor's when Ken's given the tour of camp, Taylor's scoping out potential places he and Figgy can go make out, whatever it's called. Right. So
or they can go pick up trees.
Right. Because that's the guy's like, that's all he's thinking about now. That's all he's thinking about. So it's almost, anyway, I think it'll be his downfall. But anyway, and the whole mouthing, you're hot and all that kind of stuff. I mean, come on, grow up.
Yeah.
I mean, I am 47, so I guess I'm old and maybe that's, cool. But
you're so old. You're not a dreamer. Be a dreamer.
Yeah. Adam's like this, they're like my worst nightmare. Figgy is controlling and all this kind of stuff. And go ahead. He's thrilled.
90% of the time, we know these edits are not timed exactly the way they were taken. But Adam's face, while they're showing the you're hot and she's smiling, his face is priceless. Like,
oh, yeah.
Really doing this right now? Because nobody's watching. Just the five of us right here.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention to YouTube and what you're doing. Really?
You know what he's thinking?
I walk with Ken and talk to Ken.
Yes. It's like, wow, I haven't seen that since middle school. I mean, Taylor's probably even thinking, Figgy's probably even thinking, come on, Taylor. But anyway.
It's awesome because it's separating the millennials. We're starting to see the separation of millennials, the maturity level, the personalities, and we're just starting to see that difference. And I love it. This is a good mix.
All right, next day, Vanua. It's morning time, and
hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You skipped Adam and Ken going off and having their talk.
Oh,
or is that the next day? They go up, and what's great is we got two people talking that were at the bottom of their respective tribes. I love, right? This is that same segment, right?
Yeah.
It says, "Where were you?" I love this honesty talk, and Adam's honest with him. Like the lower third. Adam's like, "Yeah, you could call it that." The lowest of the third.
Yeah. How funny is it that like Adam's gonna tell him? So why do you make him go fishing for it? It's like, Anyway, go ahead.
But I love that Ken. I think Ken's got a pretty good truth detector. And he can tell that Adam's being honest. And maybe Ken saw something between Adam and Figgy and Taylor that he saw maybe there could be a separation there. And I just love the way they talked. I love the way Ken called him one of the nicest kids, And I love Adam's perspective of I've got pairs on both sides, and they need to come to me. Someone forward. They need to work with me. So he's already put himself in the middle, but he did not. He did not call himself the swing vote. And I applaud you, Adam, for not using that survivor term and that jinx term and calling yourself the swing vote. Maybe he didn't. They just didn't show it. But I'm so glad he didn't use that term. Because to me, that's smart not to call yourself the stereotypical person in the middle. Just
Right.
say, hey, I can move somebody forward. They need to work with me. And I loved how that tribe was formed and how that situation came about. This is my only downside to this episode. We went to 3 tribes and it seems like we lost camp time. We got just clips and clips and clips.
Oh, I know.
And nothing really.
I know.
But at least they only had one challenge, and that was good. That did give us more time.
Yeah.
Segment.
I do too, and Adam is in a really good place. I mean, the guy's got an idol, and he can choose which way he wants to go. So,
yep, indeed.
Day 14, the Vanua tribe, or the Vanua tribe, whatever it was. Michelle and Zeke are feeling on the outs a little bit, of course. And but you know what? Michelle starts doing what she does best. She starts talking to people and developing relationships.
That was great. That was
really good. And
I didn't catch all of where y'all are from. Where's everybody from again?
Yeah. Building those relationships. And Zeke hit the jackpot. I mean, Zeke hit the jackpot with an Oklahoma Sooner player from the 2000 championship team, which was his favorite team. I mean, can you hit a bigger jackpot than that?
That was so great because he said pregame that I want to work with the big ginger-haired guy. Yeah. He looks huge. I like the big football players. And you're exactly right. I mean, my goodness. Chris, I like Chris, and I thought he had a really good episode. But what do football players love more than winning? And how great they are.
Well,
hearing somebody talk about how well they played and stuff. And you're right, man. Zeke got the lowdown on the Sooners, and he's obviously a fan, and he knew exactly when he played. He knew exactly that he was one of the winning teams.
Oh yeah,
and you're right. All of a sudden these two are inseparable, and I love it.
That's almost like a power couple. That's almost like a Taylor and a Figgy. So they have to be careful, because
exactly,
they have to be careful because that is a strong connection.
I wrote that down. The new power couple.
Yeah.
Great.
Zeke
I love that. We were thinking the same thing. Yeah. But I mean, it was, I love the way that worked out because they've got more. It's one thing to live in the same state as somebody. It's one thing to have a connection in that regard, but there's more there. There's a football connection. It's a sport connection, but it's a love of something Sooner. That's Oklahoma Sooners. And I know you're an Aggie fan, but it's another connection. If you ran into another Aggie on an island, you guys would be, and started talking football and something Aggies, you guys would be locked.
Right.
You could talk, especially when you go into detail about stuff. I thought it was great.
Yeah. All right. So who did it help? Who did it potentially help? Zeke, Adam, Ken, and Jessica for sure. Those are the top four. I think it helped.
Yeah.
Zeke, Adam, Ken, and Jessica. It may have helped others, but I mean, we can't really tell on the Ichabod tribe.
Right. I think in a roundabout way, it helped Chris because Chris's only real alliance left in the game that hasn't flipped is Brett. And if Chris and Brett were together on a tribe, whether they're in the majority or minority, they would still be kind of locked. Chris being a free agent to anybody, being with somebody that's blindsided him twice, I think Chris being on his loan is Chris at his best.
Yeah.
He can easily go to Zeke and Michelle and say, look, I got blindsided twice. I've got no other alliances left. Take me with you and I'll do whatever I got to do. Yeah. So I think in a roundabout way, and he made a lot of the work, a lot of it happen himself, but I think Chris came out of the swap very, very well.
Well, there you go. So we have 5 people that we think really came out well. Zeke, Adam, Ken, Jessica, and Chris. And who did it hurt? I only wrote 2 people, Taylor and Figgy. I think it hurts them. I think they are going to bane the day that they had to swap. Because and partially because they think they're so good. They think they're in such a good position, but they're not.
Yeah.
So.
I would say, well, if you can almost count the 4 millennials on the Ichabod tribes at the Green Tribe.
Yes.
To help them because it put them in a huge advantage.
Well, yeah.
Sunday and Brett, and a very unfortunate. It just didn't help them at all. They got a lot of work to do.
But
fortunately for them, they're on a strong tribe.
Right. So if they can keep winning to the merge, then I'm not sure it's going to hurt them too much. So.
They've got the best 2 challenge people, Jay and Michaela. Chris is behind Jay, but still, Jay and Michaela are the top 2, I think.
Yeah. So day 14, Ichabula, Brett and Jay can't start a fire, but Michaela, who, when she's at her very bottom, doesn't give up. If anything, she gives it even more. And she starts the fire, which of course is very emotional because it's what's the word I'm looking for? It represents so many other areas of her life. You know, she's emotionally drained out there, and she has risen above something that was hurting them, and it was just emotional for her, which I just thought was wonderful.
Yeah, I did too. I wrote it down as another situation. We saw Zeke get his passionate situation when he made the fire. We saw Adam get the idol and talk about his mom, have his passionate situation. These people have passion, Zeke, Michaela, and Adam. And then, you know, and that's what I want to see. And I want to see that. And I don't want to see it forced. I want to see it real. I want to go just for a second. Did you have anything else for that camp on day 14?
Just it ends with an awkward Hannah hug. That's it.
Yeah, a side hug.
No, it was
I forgot.
It was a bouncy hug.
Oh yeah.
All right. The next thing I have is immunity challenge. So whatever you've got, go for it.
Just one thing back at the Orange Camp with Michelle, Zeke, Chris, Cece, and Dave. When they woke up, everybody was already sitting at the beach except for Michelle, and they looked kind of rested and fresh, and they were talking about how they slept, and I slept so well I dreamed. And here comes Michelle. How'd you sleep? I didn't really sleep at all. Who's nervous and who's not nervous? Who's a little overconfident and who's not? And my thought is, and they're on the bottom, that's a good night to try and stay up abilities, or at least build a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, don't sleep through Survivor. I know you get tired, and I know that you got to find time to rest, but at the same time, if somebody's up that could help you down the road, you know, David didn't seem to be thinking about the millennials. Chris was. David was so seeing the guy he blindsided twice. Maybe he should have stayed up and talked to Michelle. He's probably a real great person to talk to, like Michelle, but that could have been an opportunity for somebody to. He's very good about building relationships.
Yeah.
So just a thought on that, but I'm ready to go to the challenge.
Okay. Immunity challenge, beautiful location. This Fiji place is absolutely phenomenal. Oh my gosh. It's gorgeous. So they're playing for the idol and the mini idol. Yep. Thanks, David. You're a real good partner there. You know, you're supposed to feed off of me. You just let it hang. It was so not nice.
That's what it deserved. The idol and the little idol. I was still looking at my note that said
mini idol, like mini me and mini me. It was idol and mini idol. And you just sat there.
I thought you said little idol.
Well, do you even listen to me during the show? Do you? No, apparently not.
Can I talk now?
Sure.
No, I was looking at my notes and said, why did Zeke get a wow? Nice toss. I mean, that seemed kind of weird. I don't know if it was edited.
I don't know. Usually, he probably expected him to swim it over, and he didn't.
Yeah. Later, we get a nice dive by Taylor, and Jay's a monster. He's just got his his little. I think he thinks he's a millennial.
See what I did there, David? You make a joke, and what do? I laughed. I didn't even understand what you said, but I laughed anyway. I honestly have no idea what you said, but I laughed because I knew you made a joke.
Do you make jokes?
Ikabula sits Will out. Why? Why are they sitting Will out? The kid's 18 years old.
And 18 feet tall. He could reach down and pull the buoy without going underwater.
I mean, seriously, why? Can you think of a reason? This is an immunity challenge. So you can sit him out. The next challenge would be, well, actually, the next challenge is a new show. So you could, it doesn't matter. Even if they only had one challenge next show, they'd still be able to use them again. I don't know. Why sit him out? Maybe he can't swim. Whatever. Gwen tells us to behave. He started it, Gwen. All right. The challenge frustrated me.
Sorry.
David, the challenge frustrated me. And the reason why is because we get more of David being incredibly incompetent and doing so badly And yet I'm watching it and I know he's safe. And it just annoys the heck out of me. Because, I mean, it was horrible. The guy's on the platform and he kicks the ball off the platform. Okay.
I'd watch that little part of the challenge like 5-6 times in a row.
Well, I couldn't laugh.
It's funny things. But this is a guy that shows up at the challenge mat and said, no puzzles? We can't toss bags or do puzzles? We got to swim? Physical? David's forte. David said, can I just wait on the other side and toss the ball to catch the basket over there?
Yeah.
Got to swim. So this is Mr. Non-physical, Mr. Non-outdoors, Mr. afraid of everything outside the front door. And he's just not the physical guy. I mean, he's a stick. Going through that water, he should have just tried to push and just floated right through. But he is not the physical.
Okay, and obviously what you do in that is you, and this doesn't take any pre-planning, although they should have talked about it. You don't swim with the buoy. You throw the buoy ahead of you, even if it's just a couple of feet. But you don't try to swim with a buoy. You're not going to get anywhere. All right. Several did poorly in this challenge, though. Not just David. Sunday couldn't get the buoy. Cece took forever, and I mean forever, to swim with the buoy because she wouldn't let go of it.
Like a
David,
kickboard thing for her.
Oh, yeah. David, this was hard to watch. Zeke even wonders if he's throwing it.
Yep.
I did not say little idol, David. I said mini idol because I was reading my notes.
She said you said little idol, but why are we going back to this?
No,
so
you said
you're
little. Forget it. All right.
There you go.
Michelle couldn't get the buoy, and Ken can't shoot basketball for nothing. It's like they made the movie White Men Can't Jump about Ken. You know that movie from the 80s?
Yes.
Right. I mean, the guy can't shoot a basketball. So all those people did poorly, but several did well. Michaela is the basketball hero.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Jay is the boss at everything. And Chris got 2 buoys and did very well as well. So anyway, there you go. There's my who did poorly, who did well. Do you have anything else to say about the idol, about the challenge?
No. I'm trying to get up on that pier.
My
gosh. On that
gosh.
platform. That was tiring.
That'd be difficult.
Chris is like, how do you expect me to shoot this far? I just swam 4 laps.
Yeah.
There.
Oh, definitely I would have went for the pulling the basket closer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I would have tried one shot first just to see if it was going to be like not too difficult. But if it was, I would have immediately said, let's pull it in. So.
Yeah, and I gave hats off to Sunday. Instead of trying to stay there and keep going for it, she just went on and swam. You got one of the fastest swimmers there in Jay.
Yeah.
Jay could have got all 4 buoys before the other teams got theirs.
Right.
So good on her for doing that.
Yeah. So Ikabula wins immunity, Takali wins mini immunity, and Vanua loses and has to go to tribal council. And who gets the final confessional?
Zeke.
That's right. All right. So that means we're going back to camp with Vanua. And dude, they got a snake in their basket. That's scary.
They got a couple snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is everyone ignoring the elephant in the camp? Everybody's saying how horribly they did, except for David and Cece, who did horribly. And everybody's giving everybody a pass, including David and Cece, who did horribly. What is going on?
I think from this point on, half of what these people are saying. Because Chris lies for the first 5 minutes beautifully. Yes. Everybody else is faking with their conversation. So it's like the people that need to confess and come forward. But the other people are being polite and giving them a pass because one of them's going to go home.
Oh, yeah, okay. Boy, Chris did play that well, though, didn't he?
He did. He sat right there with David and Cece. He said, yep, which one do you want to go? Zeke is better at challenges, so if you want to do that, let's do that. I loved it. It was finally Chris's turn to play the backstab.
Yeah.
To be on that side. And he played it very well. as soon as they left, he said, "You have blindsided me. It's time for them to go." And my first thought was, hold on, don't be hasty. And that's when I actually stopped and started thinking about it. And I said, well, he is by himself. If he's with somebody like Brett, then he could be seen as a power couple there. He's by himself, but he just made with somebody who is rather persuasive on the other tribe. And if there can be some fodder on the other side, he could really be in a good place. Chris, just keep doing what you're doing. I like where this is going.
However, why trust David again? He only needs Zeke and Michelle. Why trust David again?
You are completely reading my mind. My thought was, why are you keeping David?
Yeah.
Yes, he's the guy that blindsided you. He's the guy that found an idol. It's just following what other people are telling her to do. It seems like they don't give her any credit for strategizing. Because nobody talks to me. So the second time I watched, I really wanted to hear it again. Why David? I really wanted a good answer. And he says Dave has contacts. And I wrote Ken and Jessica because I would have thought Chris would have been closer to Sunday than Dave was if that was one of his contacts. But just Ken and Jessica, who could be gone by the time we have another tribal council if it's another tribe, that Chris may need later. So Cece has to go. I don't know that Chris wants to keep because David should have been the one gone. This would have been the perfect time to blindside David. He's the one that you can't trust. He's the one that later on, as we get to the next scene, which I loved, how kind of go to the next little segment.
Do whatever you want.
They're out working, and David Chris says, gets his attention, said, hey, we really need to think this through. We need to really think about how it's going to go forward. Need to plan all this we stuff up, which David's eating up. Somebody's talking to me about strategy. I'm all ear.
Yeah.
And he says, are we making the right decision? We can't get rid of Zeke. Are we making the right decision? Well, process of elimination. He's only talking about Cece. He's not talking about each other. He's not talking about Zeke. Michelle was already a chosen. Now he's talking about Cece. And David flips the switch and is
I
don't even need to think about it, Chris. Yeah. I don't even need to think about it. Like, really? This is the guy you want to keep?
I know.
Talking to him before tribal council because he's going to flip again.
Exactly.
So
it's like if you see anybody else talking to him, you're in trouble.
So I could picture all the way up the lockdown, Chris going, Dave, stay here. Dave, right here. Don't leave. Dave, I'm going to grab you by the neck if you don't stand right beside me for the next 2 hours.
That's right. So then Chris and David tell Zeke and Michelle that they're safe.
Right.
And but Michelle doesn't want to sit back. Okay, here's where you get Michelle trying to talk with Cece, and she says, I didn't get anywhere with her. So maybe that's why nobody talked to Cece, because you can't get anywhere.
Yeah, this is this is just the power of relationships. Zeke is all about it because he trusts Chris. They've had that connection. Michelle has not had that connection with anybody. In fact, she probably might not have been that close with Zeke after they blindsided Mari. Probably still a little tiff there in the back of somebody's mind. So she's right not to trust them. Absolutely right not to think they're going to necessarily keep her in the game. But yeah, to me, that's CC being a little overconfident. As in, we can talk, but we don't really need to talk because nothing's going to change.
Right.
You're going to go, and that's a shame. But kudos to Michelle for scrambling.
Right.
In the game, even though she was safe.
Well,
how happy do you think Zeke was? Zeke's like, that's my boy. That's my sooner. We're not going anywhere. You can trust the guy.
Right. By the way, Gwen has a good point in the chat room. She says, maybe Chris wants to keep David around as someone who is a bigger target at the merge. If Cece makes the merge, she will probably make it to the end.
But if Cece makes the end, in my opinion, she does not win.
Yeah, but if but she could be your vote. She could be someone else's vote. I don't know, but still, it's a valid point. So,
only thing about keeping David is once you get to the merge, then you can take him out. But getting to the merge, you got to deal with him.
Yeah,
and of course they wouldn't know if he's got the other idol, but he's a danger.
Right. So then you get Cece telling the guys, Michelle wants you out, David, which was funny. He's like, "Yeah, I got told that in high school all the time." Yeah, what she said. Go ahead.
I was just I could see Cece at a confessional talking about her talk with Michelle, how she wouldn't listen, And she was really not going to go along with anything she said anyway. So she's good. Everything's fine. We're ready to go to tribal and vote. Well, when you go back in there, at least share with David or Chris what she said. You
don't think she did that on her own?
Just making a joke about it. Because
okay.
we need some other way to show that Michelle's not going. I mean, we need, to show alternatives as if it's not Michelle. Right. And then we get the whole David thing of, well, maybe I should use my idol on CC and get rid of Michelle because she doesn't want me here. Well, nobody wants you there because everyone has to beat everybody.
Right.
So at some point.
Well, plus all Michelle had to do was talk to David and he'd be okay.
Well, if she trusts him, she's smart enough to know not to trust anybody. Especially if she hears the history of David, she's going to know she can't trust him at all.
Right.
But
all right, let's go to tribal council. No, go ahead because I'm going to tribal council next.
Yeah, that's where my next notes are.
All right.
My next comment about David was at tribal.
Quote of the game from David: "Trust is paramount to me." I'm just going to say that and walk away.
Line right after that. He keeps finding himself in a place of having to prove his loyalty. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is? Yeah. Because you keep breaking it.
Yeah. There you go.
But I loved his acting. He took a page from Chris when he said how tight and secure the Gen Xers are. Great face.
Yeah. As long as we 3 Gen Xers stay tight, we're good.
Yeah.
Let's go vote.
Cece's like, let's vote. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I don't have any other notes for tribal council. So if you do, talk about them. Otherwise, Cece's gone.
No, it was that was the part that kind of just fell flat because you kind of knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I like the way it came about, and I like the way Chris got it done.
All right. If you want to hear our thoughts and predictions on next week's episode, just check out our D&D extra video at the beginning of each week. It's a patron perk, so that's how you get it.
Hey guys, this is Jennifer, and I just wanted to steal a moment during my favorite podcast to remind you to use D&D's Amazon link when you shop at Amazon. Not only do you get everything you need at Amazon, you're also helping D&D continue their great podcasts. So always use www.stwdd.com/Amazon when you start your shopping, or make it even easier and just use their links on their website and the D&D Facebook group. That's all I wanted to say. Now back to more D&D.
You know what we need, David?
I guess nothing, because she just said we have a great podcast.
I know. We need a feedback jingle. Like, it's time for feedback from our listeners, or something like that.
I think people should make one up and send them in, and we pick which one we want. Or we can use them all. Or you just want to come up with one yourself. Well, you're a songwriter. Why don't you come up with one?
I just did.
Why don't you come up with another one?
It's time for feedback from our listeners. Someone's going to win a buff tonight. Someone's going to win a buff tonight. All right. First, we have, how many feedback do we have tonight, David? 11? 12? This could be a record.
Is Canada in the running?
What?
You said outside the country.
No, that's not continental U.S., so no, they're not in the running. All right. We have Sylvia from Boston. Hi, Dwaine and David. Thank you back in the old days when it was Dwaine and David. I love you, Sylvia.
Now that's funny. I'll laugh at that.
Thank you so much for the entertainment and insight provided on the podcast. Dwaine, you are so funny, and David should laugh at all of your jokes.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's not in there. I just added it. I think voting out Cece was a good move. The tribe will be stronger in challenges, and foremost, they open the door for the Millennials and Gen X to work together. Otherwise, if they had voted out Michelle, this tribe may have to purposely lose the next one to vote out Zeke. Also, if they wanted to keep the numbers against Millennials. I think that may have been why David did so badly at the challenge. Maybe he was throwing it. Anyway, very good, David, for keeping the idol to yourself. The Gen X could have also strengthened their numbers by letting the tribe with Figgy and Taylor lose too. So one of those go. I think in the next episode or the one after, either Figgy or Taylor goes. Go Michaela with 2 L's, double L on purpose as double L Michelle last season. Smiley face. Hope Michaela can pull out a win. Thanks, Sylvia from Boston. Thank you, Sylvia. That was awesome. All right, David.
I see a fad starting here. This is Traveling Tina. She says, "Dear Dwaine and David."
No, that's just because she likes me better. She just likes me better.
Yeah. I hope you both are having a good show. I think it's okay. It's a good show. I am back in the States and loving the weather in Virginia. Well, you must be in a different part of Virginia. I'm covered in swamp mosquitoes and almost 80-degree weather. So,
well, that's because you had 3 feet of water in your neighborhood.
I know. So, as a patriotic American, after watching last night's episode, I had a choice to either write a feedback or watch the third and final presidential debate on this very important election year.
Ugh.
Little thought, I decided to write the feedback since Survivor is significantly more important than making the correct educated choice for president. You both support me on this, and you know that I have my priorities straight. Anyway, about this episode, I loved it. I loved the look on Adam's face when Figs and Taylor were blowing kisses at each other. Wishful thinking explanation of why it is good to be a couple on Survivor. I may contact him about a bridge I'm selling in San Francisco. Do you have his contact info?
Wait. Now, it is possible to sell a bridge in San Francisco, right? Anyway, go ahead. I got some oceanfront property in Arizona.
Yeah. I loved Michaela being so disgruntled about being on a fixer-upper tribe and then getting it together and building the fire. She continues to impress, and what a great job at the challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Talking of challenges, I loved watching David's challenge mess. It is a good thing he found the second idol. He may need to find a few more to counterbalance his athletic deficiencies. I like most of the players this season. I am keeping my feedback short and sweet. For all 3 of our sakes. Let's hope it stays that way. All the best, your friend, Traveling Tina.
Thank you, Traveling Tina. And yes, I am aware, by the way, that the San Francisco Bridge, I think it's the Golden Gate Bridge, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Isn't that the bridge in San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge? It's been sold like a couple of times, but not really sold. Like by people that don't own it. To people that don't own it and still don't own it. You got to be a really good con man to sell somebody something that you don't own. You know what I mean?
I'm only going to say the left side. The right side is up for bid, but I can say the left side of the.
Yeah. You're very welcome, Sylvia. Apparently, Sylvia is in our chat room, our first feedback. All right. Next, we have Dave Holdsworth from New Jersey. Yes, he's back in the chat room. He's been in and out from Jersey. Good evening from the beaches of New Jersey. First off, for any listeners out there that aren't D&D patrons, you are really missing out. Oh, wow. This is cool. This week's Patron Extra video featuring guest expert Andy Baker was phenomenal. So sign up to be a D&D patron. It's seriously worth it. Thank you, David. A few left field observations for this week's episode. I was very surprised that when the Gen X tribe went on their idol hunting party the morning after Tribal Council, they allowed David, the only Gen X member who has found an idol so far and who isn't trusted by most of his tribe, to search alone. If I were on the tribe with him, someone would be within 6 inches of him at all times to prevent him from even sniffing another idol. Stupid move. Yeah, I agree with them. Long gone are the days where you don't let people look. Certainly not by themselves. Right?
Yep.
Is there any chance that the producers is there any chance? Boy.
Let's smile when we say that.
Is there any chance? Knowing David was being at least partially shadowed during the search helped lure the others away. So David was able to get the idol he had seen and continue his upward trajectory in the game? Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think that's what we just saw. Boy.
David.
So this is whenever Andy Baker texts you tomorrow morning and goes, "That's right." Because apparently Andy Baker texts you in the mornings about our show. I didn't know about
he goes to his hike every morning, and then every once in a while, and he'll listen to the show.
So y'all have like your own little chat room that y'all do that with? Because it's not in our Vegas room. Oh, just text.
Message. Text. Yeah, and he'll just say something like, "Good point," or "You guys are exactly right." This, that, and the other. So
nice.
we're his morning jog.
Cool. Huge props to Andy Baker for calling it. Speaking of Andy Baker, a mix up to 3 tribes. A couple initial thoughts at seeing the newly formed 3 tribes. Why exactly was Michaela so angry? She ended up in a really good spot. Yeah, but at first she didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Taylor and Figgy, or Figtail, as they call themselves, remained together. I don't know if I could have made it through my days, knowing that these 2 star-crossed lovers would be separated for even a second. Luckily, we will get to see their blossoming love even more in the upcoming episodes. Joy. Hopefully, David, you could sense the sarcasm in my voice as I sensed it in his.
Or he jest.
When Figgy and Taylor were cooing, "You're hot," at each other, and Adam was standing next to them, fidgeting uncomfortably, I was hoping CBS would put the hashtag third wheel under Adam. I get it. David is not Terry Dietz when it comes to challenges. But seriously, that performance was beyond inept. I'm not sure why he'd want to throw the challenge, but it looked suspiciously like he did. It reminded me of watching Dr. Jill's challenge performance during the Durham Warrior Survival Challenge when she was throwing a challenge to eliminate her tribe mate Matt. Yeah, that was hard to watch. I mean, like, she kept looking at the other tribe, wishing them to do well and just like dropping the ball on purpose.
I think it was harder for her.
Yeah. It was harder for her to throw it than it was for them to win it. Yeah. So in 2 of the 3, by the way, speaking of Dr. Jill, merge episode, we're going to have a special Sunday night episode or Sunday afternoon episode. And I believe we're going to have Dr. Jill, Steve Helling, Andy Baker, maybe a 4th, but definitely those 3 will be with us. So it's going to be fun.
Yep.
So in 2 of the 3 tribes, Millennials had a number advantage. The only tribe where Gen X had the numbers was the Orange tribe. Orange goes to tribal, and the Orange tribe Gen Xers proceed to give up the numbers advantage. Strange strategy. Finally, 5 boots so far. 4 of them have been minority females. So does Survivor have an issue here? Keep up the great work, D&D. David Holdsworth. All right.
He calls it strange strategy to give up the numbers, but I think Chris has been burned enough by his own tribe that I don't think he cares about the Gen Xers anymore. He's playing for Chris now.
Well, he's also thinking that the Gen Xers are in the minorities in the other tribes. So what's he going to have left? You hook yourself up with some millennials that you can, tag along when they merge.
Good point. They may not survive either. So.
Yeah. All right, David, you got to read this next one well because Gwen is in the chat room.
This is Gwen from Santa Barbara. Hi, D&D. This is Gwen from Santa Barbara. I am a long-time lurker, and I love your podcast. Listen live, but by Thursday evening, my brain is pretty much done for the week.
Yeah, mine too.
Hopefully, I will remember tonight. I am enjoying this season. I like that I don't know what to expect at Tribal Council. However, sometimes we don't get the full story. Do you think there is a better way that Survivor can still surprise us, but also give us the full story? I would love to get your thoughts. Thanks, Gwen.
There's always a better way.
The better way not to go to 3 tribes with only an hour to show it.
Yeah, maybe.
Feeds. I would love to have live feeds of Survivor.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that because they have a story to tell, and if we saw the live feeds, then they couldn't tell the story. She gave you a B+, by the way.
Oh, I got
Gwen, I want to know, it took, 6, 12, 15, 17, 21 characters to put insert smiley emoji here, and you could have just put a smiley emoji. Just saying. All right.
You're going to get a grade for that.
Oh, you are probably right. All right, it is time.
I think it's funnier to read insert smiley emoji.
Yeah. Is that? Oh, no. Okay. Here we go. Will the Giant Ninja.
What's up, guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. the Giant Ninja. Now, I know last week I told you I probably wasn't going to get some feedback done this week, but I was just so darn happy after last night's win that I decided to push through and make it happen. In case you are not following with rapt attention like I am, the series between my Cubbies and the Dodgers of Los Angeles is now tied 2-2 with John Lester on the mound tonight. It's now a best-of-3 series with 2 of those 3 games in Chicago. I do like our chances. I am not giddy quite yet, but boy, did last night change things. Because, man, if Survivor had been the night before, I was pretty depressed. Right now, we're sitting pretty. And hopefully, the good guys bring it home and reverse the curse. On to Survivor, however. And remember, last week's D&D podcast, David decided to throw some shade my way for daring to type out my feedback because I happen to like David and Dwaine bantering amongst my paragraphs of meandering thoughts. So that's why I like to type it out. But apparently David likes to hear from the Giant Ninja himself. So David, this one is for you. Number 1, David plays an idol. David finds an idol. Can you say hero confessional? David, that was outstanding. The only thing that was bad about playing the idol the way you did last week was that you burned it. You wasted it, and there could be a swap coming. And in fact, there was a swap coming, but you knew what to look for. You found the idol that would not have been there had you not saved your ally last week. And lo and behold, here it is. Go, David. Number 2, Jeff, did you really just name the new tribe E. coli? I mean, seriously, I know they start with nothing, and I know that the last 2 seasons that's been that third tribe has been prone to bacteria, but you're naming the tribe E. coli? Have some compassion. Number 3, here come my initial thoughts from the swap, my very first thoughts about the 3 new swapped tribes. Number 1, the Taco tribe, which apparently is called Takali. Adam gets to choose between Figgy Newton and Ken and Jessica. Lucky him, he's in a good spot. I hope he chooses Ken and Jessica because I love David. Number 2, the E. coli tribe, which is apparently Ichabod Crane, I don't know. The E. coli tribe. Sunday's toast. Number 5, the manure tribe, which is apparently Vanua. The manure tribe. Zeke got the short end of the stick. He went from the majority on the majority tribe to the minority on a minority tribe. But he's going to be okay. He's going to find the cracks that are definitely there. The only question is Chris too old school to vote with a millennial? I don't know. Again, those were my initial thoughts upon seeing the swapped tribes. Number 6, Michaela made fire on E. coli Beach. That was awesome. Great music, great moment, great scene, and yet again, can you say hero confessional? Number 7, at the challenge, at the immunity challenge, David is doing so poorly that Zeke legitimately asks whether he's throwing it. No, Zeke, he's not throwing it. He's just that bad. Number 8, on the opposite end of the spectrum, Michaela. Holy cow, Michaela. She went beast mode, legitimate beast mode, and that was awesome to see. Number 9, no, David, you do not tell Michelle that you're voting for Michelle. The reason that you don't is because you do not do anything unless there is an upside. And there is no upside whatsoever to telling Michelle. The best case scenario is that nothing happens and she knows that she's going home ahead of time. Worst case scenario, she gets her ducks in a row, she works with other people and throws you under the bus. Or she plays her idol, which you don't know whether she has or not. No, you do not tell her that you're voting for her. And number 10, David was right to hold his idol and vote Cece out. Because the odds are if they used an idol to get Michelle gone, they'd be back at tribal council next week and they'd have to vote Chris out because Chris wouldn't vote with David and Cece. And so they have to use Zeke to vote their strongest player out. Or even worse, Zeke, knowing his safe, might vote with Chris and force a fire-making challenge, and David might find himself gone. He was right to put his idol in his pocket, say bye-bye to Cece, and make sure that David has 6 more days in the game. Well, that's all I got. Later, peeps. Go Cubs. Will at the Giant Ninja.
We cannot come close to the passion in his feedback.
I know, and yet he enjoys our banter back and forth during his feedback. So it's kind of a tough, it's kind of a tough decision there. Because I also enjoy hearing his feedback, but I also enjoy bantering during it. But I'm not going to pause it and banter. I mean, it's already 5.5 minutes, which is good. He has kept it under 6 minutes every single one this season. Next, we have Irene from Cambridge, Massachusetts, via Spain. Hi, Dwaine and David. Yet another amazing person. Jessica is going to give the advantage to Ken after David used an idol to save her. What? Is she really going to do that? Or was she trying to win Ken over? No, it's like Ken, David. Well, I'll give it to Ken. If I were Jessica, I would have probably said nothing. Does not Ken have an interest now in voting out Jessica before day 36? Yes, he does. Although he would have to do it subvertively. He'd have to be really sneaky about it, so she wouldn't know he was part of it. Thanks for the amazing podcast, Irene. Thank you, Irene.
You know what it was?
What?
It was me last week talking about how you are responsible for 95+% of this podcast. So you deserve a little first name basis here. I'll give you that.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay. All right. Next we have Steve. Where's Steve from? I didn't read it. You didn't tell me. All right. Next we have Steve. Do what? Oh.
Hey, Dwaine. Hey, David. This is Steve from Riverdale, New York. Longtime listener, first-time caller. My feedback is about David, who seems to be the heart of the story right now. What I'm seeing is somebody who's playing very much for second place. I don't know if he realized it when he was doing it, but he's been making just enough moves to stay in the game and last to the merge. And if he makes the merge, I can't imagine anybody's going to want to vote him out. He's not going to be a threat in any way, and strategically, he's clearly not much of a threat. But at the same time, he seems to be aligning just right enough to avoid getting cut. Just kind of wondering what you think. He's great television, but I can't see him as a very good player. Although, like I said, I think he's probably going to be second or third place, depending on how many people make the final tribal council. Thanks for the podcast.
All right. Distracted by David.
Now, I admit I don't listen to the audio. You forgot the applause.
Hold on.
I
was listening but not watching.
Me?
So
Me.
Because I was reading what you wrote me.
Oh, okay. That's a great point about once he makes the merge, if he keeps flipping and moving, who's going to vote for him? Who's going to want to get rid of him then?
Yeah.
Who's going to give him at the end? It's kind of like a Ty situation where Ty was nice to everybody and played with everybody, but at the end, nobody wanted to give him any credit for anything.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. Steve's got a great voice for feedback too. Way to go, Steve. All right. David.
Brian from Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada. The dynamic duo D&D were especially brilliant with their podcast last week. Yes, another great feedback. I think this week will be a challenge to have it all make sense. I know Survivor keeps wanting to surprise us, but an 8-8 tribe shuffle would have been better. Only reason I would say why they might not have done that was to keep two tribes from being advantage. You got to work it out so that one tribe at least has a chance of not being a millennial advantage.
There you go. Yeah.
3 tribes at 16, clumsy. This episode felt like a series of hidden/deleted scenes that might have helped the final outcome make more sense. How did the ever-scheming David survive and Cece was the one voted out? Be too smart to trust David. I know Cece was especially bad, epically bad at every challenge, but watching David chase around the orange balls at the challenge, I assumed he was trying to throw the challenge. Was that clumsy? Speaking of, I think he really was that exhausted, but yeah.
No, I'm just laughing.
Speaking of throwing challenges, why wouldn't the majority of millennials on the other tribes not throw a challenge to boot out another Gen Xer? David and Cece tribe with the David and Cece tribe playing, they would have had to stop completely for several minutes to have any hope of losing. So a season with a lot of baffling, if not awful, strategy. For someone who didn't trust him, still 9 men left out of the 15, and also 9 millennials to go to 6 Gen Xers. Of the season would be a Gen X female, all 2 of them left. The non-threatening male millennial to win. Likeable and not very athletic Adam, my preseason pick. I was impressed with Adam in the challenge. I mean, he can swim, he can dive, and he was quick. The first one to get his buoy. So
yeah, he may be holding back a little bit.
Athletic he is, but I do like Adam as a pick. No one who looks like Brett, Chris, or Ken have ever won Survivor, and that won't change this year.
Wait, what?
Come merch.
No one who looks like
said,
Brett, Chris, or Ken. But Brett and Chris don't look like Ken. I don't understand.
Well, he's saying that nobody ever looks like Ken either. That's one.
Oh, really?
I mean, Yule was kind of built like Ken.
I mean, Ken is like I'm thinking Australia. What's his name? Oh no, he didn't win.
Didn't win. Ozzy didn't win.
Okay.
Joe hasn't won.
All right.
Okay. And that won't change this year. Come merge time, that person becomes the prime target. Good point. Another strong all-new player cast, although the Gen Xers seem a little dull. Ahead to season 34, but I prefer the chaos of the constant surprises from new players. I love all-star seasons, but I actually really like new player seasons too.
But I'll enjoy season 34.
Oh, absolutely. Keep up the awesome job. Your podcasts are at times the best part of Survivor for the week.
Well, thank you.
Brian from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, waiting for yet another power failure from another post-tropical storm this weekend. Turns out a pretty province sitting mostly like an island in the Atlantic is stormy. Who knew?
Thank you.
Is that our first Canadian feedback?
I don't know, eh?
Yeah.
I don't think so, because I'm sure I've done my A before. You know?
Yeah.
You know, eh? I don't think,
sure.
You know.
Sure, what for
know,
North Dakota?
North Dakota.
They say A up there?
No, that's only Canada. South of the Canadian line, you don't say A. Above the Canadian line, you say A.
I thought they said A in Fargo.
No. Well, okay, they did, but that's because they thought they were in Canada.
That's funny. See, that's funny.
I'm glad I could make you laugh today, David.
They thought they were in Canada.
Are you talking about the Fargo movie?
That movie.
That is the strangest movie.
And the show, they've had 2 seasons of the show, and I know it's off topic, but if you haven't seen it, they're really good.
I don't know.
They're different too. They play off each other. The second one is a prequel to the first one, but they're really good. Very well cast.
Is it like the movie? Because it was pretty dark.
First one's like the movie, but it's a better storytelling because you get a whole season.
Okay.
Second one was interesting too.
All right. By the way, you do know this is Steve, the New York graphic artist. You do know that he wanted his name taken out of the running for another buff. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, D&D, thanks again, guys, and Buff USA for the sweet buff. I love the co-wrong design. Last week, with that was his second win out of 3 weeks. So he has.
I thought so.
He has decided. I thought he wrote that in there. I guess he didn't. Huh. Anyway, so he's decided to take his name out of the running, so he will not be getting another one. Last week with the Instagram account, I was thinking you do the same thing with the Instagram account as you do with Twitter. Maybe some people don't have Twitter or IG. You see, from IG, you can post to Facebook and Twitter at one shot. You get more traffic with the same click. Just a suggestion. Okay, back to Survivor. After Tribal Council, I see Ken and Jess talking, and Jess let Ken know about the legacy advantage. Maybe Jess should have told this to David. David did save her, right? Yeah, but David doesn't look like Ken.
Nope.
And Jessica is a girl. Even though she is an accomplished lawyer, in the end, she's just a girl standing before you, asking you to love her. What movie is that from?
She's still there and not voted out.
What movie is that from?
Is that Jerry Maguire?
No, Notting Hill.
No.
Oh, that was such a good
That movie too.
Oh, such a good movie. And that's like one of the best lines of the whole thing. You know. Okay. At camp, an idol search is on. And of course, David finds the idol. I mean, of course. They had a beacon there that only David could hear.
And they cleared out all the debris. All the ladies cleared out the brush for him, so that log was sitting there.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe David took lessons from Russell before he came out there. That was actually a question. Maybe David took lessons from Russell before he came out there. The challenge. Wait, no. More like the tribe swap. Not 2 tribes, but 3 tribes. You know, D&D, I just love 3 tribes so much. You know I'm kidding, guys. I hate 3 tribe Survivor. Serious. Less time at each camp and more reasons. But hey, what can you do? Why did Jeff have 2 baskets when picking for the tribes? One was a male basket and one was a female basket. But you could only tell if you looked at it a certain way.
One was for the male castaways and one was for the female castaways. It was not a female basket.
One was a male basket and one was a female basket. But you can only tell, looked at the bottom of the basket. Why not just one? I like that Fig and Taylor are on the same tribe. At camp, I know Ken is a model, but is he doing a photo shot on the island? Oh, I thought that too. It's like every time he does a photo, every time he does a confessional, they like oil him up and then he has to pose just right so his muscles, you know. I would demonstrate, but I don't want all the women in the chat room to go.
Wasn't he next to a rock wall or something?
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was waiting for him to go like this as he's talking against the rock wall.
Yeah. Yeah. He was tweaking his pecs in the rhythm.
Talking about the people over there.
That's right. The video confessionals look like a photo shoot. I'm sure the ladies love this scene, LOL. I can see that Ken and Adam made a bond on the island. They both seem like cool guys. I hope they go far. Fig and Taylor wasted no time with the hugs and kisses. That's cool for them, but if the wrong person sees this, that is not good. By the way, Gwen in our chat room does not find Ken attractive. Neither does Sylvia. Well, good thing Miriam's not in there. Miriam's, whew. Now the challenge. Great. 2 winners for this challenge. I love it. Not. I guess Cece is not a swimmer, and someone said David is throwing the challenge. Ken and Michaela takes the challenge down.
Okay, I did catch one exit interview today. It was the TV Guide interview where Cece says that it's a 6-month process to get in. Once you get your first call, your second interview, your final stuff, it's about 6 months for some people.
It is.
She had a month.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't know how to swim.
So she was going to learn to swim in a month.
Learn how to swim. Exactly. Yeah.
How do you not learn to swim? I mean, look, I don't care who you are. You take your kid, you throw him in a pool, and you teach him to swim. Okay. At camp. Come on, Cece. Nobody is ever safe on Survivor. She said, I know I'm not on the bottom. Well, the last couple of challenges, Cece and David didn't really help out. Was David talking about saving another person with his idol? I guess the way he finds idol, he can pick one up the next day. LOL. Cece is blindsided. By the way, you know LOL means laugh out loud, right?
Yes.
I saw this text conversation between a mother and her son. And she said, remember the Smith family. They lost their mother. LOL. And her son replied back, Mother, that's horrible. Why would you put that? And she said, what? Doesn't LOL mean lots of love? I shared this joke last week. Oh, well, then I'm not going to finish it. Cece is blindsided. Next week, I see Fig and Taylor on the radar. Maybe their honeymoon is over. That will make a nice show if that happens. Sorry, Gwen. Okay, D&D, keep up the great work on the podcast, except for Dwaine, who repeats jokes that aren't even that funny to begin with. Steve, New York graphic artist. That's funny.
Should I just let so now Gwen's on my side? Yes. No, just kidding. So I just let you go with the joke.
No, I'm not going to finish it. If they want to hear it, they can go back and listen to last week. Although I pretty much told it. So I noticed the number changed on my screen. No one knows what number I'm talking about, but I noticed it changed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You were pulling a Chris there. All right. Next we have from your neck of the woods, Bart Labar. I think it's labor. I'm just kidding.
Where is he from?
Hey guys, it's Bart in South Carolina.
He's from South Carolina. You're from Virginia. Sorry.
Hey guys, it's Bart in South Carolina. Sorry I missed you last week. My wife and I are celebrating our anniversary. You know, some things just take precedence. On to last night's episode. You know, I listen to you guys all the time and I read on the Facebook pages and everything. And there's a lot of people that like to try and figure out what's going on. I try not to do that, I think, because I enjoy the surprise. I enjoy tribal councils when I sit there and when they start reading the names, I got one in this hand and one in this hand. And when they have three people, I'm starting to count with my toes to try and keep them separate. And then I jump up, yay, but it's somebody I want to see gone, or, oh, shoot, when it's somebody I don't. So it's amazing I'm doing as well as I am in the fantasy challenge. To be honest, I don't even remember who I chose, so I have to check with Andy for that. Anyway, is Cece the slowest survivor ever? I think so. That was just terribly slow. Was she letting the current push her along? I don't even think she was swimming. And David flopping over the deck like a fish. That was great. But anyway, enjoy what you do and have a good day.
Was she letting the current push her along?
Maybe she watched the challenge last week and saw Michaela take advantage of the swell, and she was waiting for the swell to come up and push her.
She's like, man, I wish that swell would hurry up. It's like, how many more hours till the tide comes in? That was great, Bart. Bart, you got a great voice. You ought to do voiceover stuff. All right. I say that every time I hear his feedback also. Next, our friend from South Dakota. South Dakota is Wendy Zell from Zell Farms.
Hey, Dwaine and David. This is Wendy from South Dakota. Giving you my hot takes again this week. Just got done watching the episode about 30 seconds ago, so it's going to be quick. I'm kind of surprised that David didn't play his idol, probably because he played it last week for Jessica. I kind of just expected him to play it this week for Cece. Not that it was necessarily a good idea either time, but I suppose he saved it so if they lose another challenge, he can save himself, which is a good idea. I mean, I'm not saying what he did was a bad idea. I guess I just was surprised that he didn't. I'm not real fond of Michelle. I'm not really sure why. Probably because she was talking about voting out David, and I'm really fond of David. I love his quirkiness, his awkwardness. I like him. I'm so over Figgy and Taylor. They're gonna just be like cringing when they watch this back on TV because it's just really, really bad gameplay. And then, to pretend to hide it, and it's so obvious. And anyway, whatever. I was really hoping that their tribe would have lost the immunity challenge, so one of them would go home and then we wouldn't have to see it anymore. But I can hope for that for next week, I suppose. Anyway, that's really all I've got. Take care, everybody. Bye.
I love Wendy. She's awesome.
She's an original.
She is. She's one of our charter members.
That's right.
Way back in the old days.
Back in the days. We were just getting old. Now we're really old podcasters.
Yeah.
Back then we were just getting old podcasters.
Yep. All right, David. And back when Wendy was just a little girl. All right, David's got the next one.
Best over.
Let's do
Good
it.
evening, D&D. I wanted to take just a minute here to talk about our good friend, David. This isn't about you, David Jones, so settle down. I didn't realize I was getting antsy. Okay. So what you want, say what you want about David's strategy. Dwaine did, especially regarding the idle play. It was unnecessary and premature. However, credit on several accounts. Number one, with his second idol find in this episode, he is now one of only 8 survivors who have found 2 or more idols in a single season. One of only 12 who have found 2 or more idols across multiple seasons. Theirs is full of legends, 5 of which have played 3 times. Only John Mish, Tony Vlachos, and Reynold Topher have played only once. More of David in the future.
Oh.
I was only sorry. You, I know, not what you were hoping to think about. I didn't realize only so few had found 2 idols in a single season. Point 2, in a season thus far wrought with poor strategy and frenetic voting, David is 4 for 4 on tribal council voting. That, despite being a bit crazy, this guy is aware of what is going on around him. To have an idol when you play an idol.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Point 3, along these lines, with all the paranoia not doing as great on puzzles as advertised, the comments like, I trust you, you can trust me, and things like that, people are for some reason keeping him around. I totally agree.
Unexplainable.
It's to his social game.
No, it doesn't.
I think his humor has played a big part in that. That's a great point. I mean, you got to agree with that.
No, Andy.
With somebody that makes you laugh and somebody.
No.
I do, Andy. I
They're
agree.
laughing at him, not with him. I'm sorry, Andy.
Agree with you, and if you want to add points to my fantasy team, that's fine. So, but I agree. You are more inclined to keep somebody socially adept and likable in the group than some of the
He's not socially adept.
If he gets along in the group, is what I'm saying. Okay. I love that Michelle said she couldn't sleep, and he goes, "Good." I mean, that's not good, but that's good.
Okay.
So, if you think back to the first tribal council where the focus was on him and Rachel was getting the glares and David was getting the laughs. That's a big deal. Point 4, one move that stands out to me from the previous episode was when he told Ken to talk to Jessica, then went to Lucy and blew the whole thing up. David played it dumb and seemed similarly confused as to why Ken would say that to Jessica and avoided any flack. Just a lot on some of his crazy and spastic behaviors. Little things like this have been well timed. Point 5, let's be honest. How dull will this season be thus far without David? Some great moments. Adam found an idol, but what else? We've had 4 of the least popular players booted in the first 5 episodes, but somehow David has kept it interesting. Episode. Cece was about the most predictable imaginable boot. However, after David's previous episode, was he going to play the idol? I don't know, Chris again, or do the smart thing and stick with the majority? Anything was possible with David, and that is what made it great. It's been horrible. His play has made things interesting and unpredictable. That's all for now. Andy Westover from Cameron, Missouri.
Thank you, Andy.
I see David at a confessional, and they're saying, so last time you played an idol to save somebody that you said you weren't aligned with and nobody wanted to work with. Now you've got somebody that you do work with. What are your thoughts on possibly playing it again? Oh, I'm not playing it. I told Chris I wasn't doing it. Chris said he'd wring my neck if I did, so I'm not playing it. Well, let's just say that you're thinking about it. Yeah. All right, but if you promise not to tell Chris, don't tell Chris. I don't want to. If Chris finds out, I'm dead. So no, I'm not playing it. But yeah, all right, I'll say that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. All right, this is Daniel. We don't know where he's from, or does it say where he's from? Daniel, tell us where you're from. Okay.
No, I don't think it says.
This is Daniel. What's up? It's Daniel, also known as Tushball 101. First time giving my feedback. Let's do this. We start off with Jessica telling Kendall that Kendall, that she has a legacy advantage and would have given it to him. I don't believe that. I would never give a power to somebody who voted me out. Would you? I know he was telling her the truth. She set up her own trap by not believing him, but still, he did vote for her. But I'm glad Ken got an alliance member that trusts him. Now, the idol hunt. Not surprised David found it, adding him to the list of two-timers of immunity idols, Jeremy, Tony, John, Wentworth, etc. As said before, people who find one idol will usually find themselves with another. Now, we go into the swap. What was the challenge that was set up? They didn't play the challenge, and there were only 2 lanes. I have an answer for that. I believe that was the remnants of the previous challenge, just not completely taken down. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's definitely the remnants. They probably changed 5% of it to make them think it was another challenge.
This week's heartfelt moment goes to Michaela. I'm happy for her. I think this edit of hers means she will go far, just like Adam, who had his moment last week. Do you see these 2 working together? They're not a part of that core 4 on original Millennial Tribe. This is me. I do see them working together. I think that's one of the reasons why they showed Adam talking to Michaela in a previous episode. Do you relate the Gen X tribe to the Takeo tribe in Survivor Cambodia? I don't know. I don't think back that far. They both started off badly, and when they were the only ones that got majority in the 2 to 3 tribe swap, they gave it up. Immunity challenge. Was David throwing that? That may be the worst performance in an immunity challenge ever, 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 and ever. I don't see why he would throw it, but nonetheless, awful. Tribal talk was simple. Cece versus Michelle. They all came to terms on Cece at camp. David talked about playing his idol on Cece. I didn't believe it for a second. I didn't believe he would do it last time, but after one idol play, he would never do it a second time. Did you think he was playing it? Man, to be honest with you, I had no idea. I was so frustrated by that time. If he had played it and Michelle had gone home, it would have been the worst episode of Survivor I ever seen in my whole life. So
when he talked about his chance to earn Chris's trust, I didn't think he'd play it. But the funny thing is he's not earning Chris's trust.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Daniel Moser goes, hey, this is my feedback. He's in the chat room. Daniel, where are you from? Where are you from, Daniel? Okay, he'll tell us in a minute. After the 4-1 vote, I had a discussion with my friends about the 4 left on the tribe. They said that now, after this, they will be a tight 4 going into the merge. I disagreed. Chris was sick of her and wanted her out and wants to link back with Sunday and Brett. David needed to go with numbers, doesn't even work with Chris. Michelle linking back with her core 4. Hope it won't be 4 by the end of the next episode, though. Zeke staying loyal to his millennial roots. The only thing I can see is Chris and Zeke. The only thing I can see is Chris and Zeke linking up, only because of their hometowns. By the way, he's from Wisconsin. Hey, it's Daniel from Wisconsin.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then now he's thinking, I wish I hadn't told you I was from Wisconsin. All right. When it came to CC being voted out, now, by the way, in Wisconsin, they say, can I go with? Like if you say, I'm going to go to the store, they go, can I go with? Just thought I'd share that with you. When it came to Cece being voted out, I didn't get affected. She wasn't my winner pick and wasn't getting saved way too much. Next time on, okay, we get it. They're a couple. The cast gets it. They're a couple. Week after week, they keep saying Taylor and Figgy are in danger, yet they always stay. I hope this week something happens to them. Well, this episode wasn't the most exciting of the season, but it's always good to see the blind side. Hashtag blind side. I wasn't as shocked as Cece, but if she was, I'm okay with it. Can't wait to listen to this podcast and keep giving my feedback. And I love being part of the D&D family. Bye-bye, guys. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Susan. Let's see. We have one more feedback, and it's from one of our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Facebook members. Mirai M, a.k.a. Bader Girl.
Hi, Dave and Dwayne. This is Mirai M, also known as Vader Girl. I'm calling really late, so I apologize. I'm so sorry. It's just, I'm in a hotel situation right now, relocating with renter's insurance, and my cats are very worked up. So I think we've had a great, really enjoyed last episode. I think Ken is definitely winning still. I think it's awesome that Jessica, I love Jessica. I think she's really awesome. And I think she's, the fact that they showed her giving him the advantage, or possibly giving him the advantage. And I just, I think he's great. I really just think he's winning. So I'm happy to have him on my fantasy team. I'm happy I have David, who found another idol. I'm excited. And I love Michaela, who I also have too. I think she's really great and just awesome. And Adam, I'm not so hot on Jay. My biggest regret is that I didn't take Taylor. I'm sorry. I love Jay. And my biggest regret is that I took Taylor. I really love Jay. I think Jay is one of the breakout character. He's so funny. I really love him. And Taylor is meh, meh, meh. So, oh well. Love you guys. Hope this records. I hope you guys get it in time. Thank you for everything. Sending everybody love and healing. God bless. Bye.
Thank you, Vader Girl. I need to stop doing clapping for her and do the Star Wars theme or the Darth Vader theme.
To say, as soon as she said she loved the episode, we were about to get a good Ken comment.
Oh, I know. Y'all, it's time for the buff giveaway. David has randomly assigned numbers to all of our feedback submitters who met the following requirements. This is sponsored by buffusa.com. Number 1, you have to live in the continental United States. Number 2, you had to have submitted a feedback for this episode. And number 3, you have to have left your feedback by the 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. David, give me a number. I know you've already given it to me, but for the sake of everyone, tell me how many feedback are eligible.
I think this is our largest number. This is 12.
Yes, here we go. And I'm sorry, I'll tell you what, I'm going to mute when I say, hey, Siri. Oh, oops, I just said it. I was listening to the podcast.
What are you not going to say out loud?
Yeah, I was listening to the podcast in the car the other day, and I said that, and of course the podcast stops, and it goes, doo-doo. I can do lots of things for you. What did you want, Dwayne? All right, here we go. Oh, hurry up. Dadgummit. All right, give me a number between 1 and 12.
6.
The number is 6, David. Hold on. The winner is
Gwen.
She's in the chat room. Gwen, you win a Survivor buff. Awesome. Gwen wins a buff courtesy of buffusa.com. Original buff headwear is simple, effective, and infinitely adaptable. At its core is a moisture-managing microfiber fabric that is wind-resistant and able to control odor, of all things. Original Buff's headwear can be worn more than 12 different ways, from a cap to a wristband to hair tie, for that personalized style and perfect fit. So you can get your official Millennials versus Gen X Survivor buffs over at buffusa.com/SurvivorTalk33 and use SurvivorTalk33 as your promo code, and you will get 10% off your order. So go over there and do that. And there you go. Best day of my life, Gwen says. Wow. Gwen, do we need some counseling?
No, don't go there. No.
All right. Wow. Well, there you go. Thank you, Buff USA. And remember, if you're going to go to Buff USA, don't buy a buff from somewhere else. Go to buffusa.com/SurvivorTalk33 so they'll know that this is working. All right. They're not going to keep letting us do this if we don't have people going to their site and getting some buffs. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
You write them. We read them. iTunes Reviews.
That's right. It's time for iTunes Reviews. Why? Because We love to get your iTunes reviews. By the way, I said Parvati's name right, and it still has not been moved from a 3-star to a 4-star. So I'm calling you out. Our new iTunes review for this week is from Jesus Rocks Forever and Ever. He or she gave us 5 stars and wrote my quote-unquote one true podcast. I love these guys. Insightful but hilarious. I'm also as excited to listen to their recap podcasts as I am watching the actual Survivor episode. Thank you, Jesus Rocks Forever and Ever. That was awesome. You can subscribe on iTunes and leave us a review, and we will read it, and we appreciate them. And that's pretty awesome. Subscribe. It's great. Boy, we had a fun chat room tonight. Lots of interaction in the chat room tonight.
So much that we can't keep up with all.
I know. And Susan says her Siri did not activate. Well, I can fix that. Hey, Siri. There. Oh, it's bad. I should have done that. Tomorrow I'll be back. Oh, no, I won't because I'm working tomorrow. But sometimes I'm vacuuming or whatever, and I have it in my headphones, but I guess it doesn't activate it when. Anyway, forget it. So thank you for shopping Amazon. Y'all, Christmas is coming up. Halloween's around the corner. Thanksgiving. We are now entering the holiday season. This is the holiday. It's the holiday season. Whip-de-doo. Right? So use our Amazon link, stwdd.com/Amazon. The Amazon shoppers has gone down a little bit recently, but there are some of you devoted people who still do it. Thank you very much. It doesn't cost you a thing to do it. And each time you do it, you support us. I am an affiliate. If you like our show and want to contribute a small amount monthly, you can become a D&D patron. You will join the 41 others that are D&D patrons. Not only do you make a huge difference in our podcast budget each month, but $2 a month and more have access to our D&D extra video each week. And there's actually different levels. Like Donna Martello, I think that's how you pronounce her name, she gets to be on the show. She just picks the week, and she gets to be on the show. So that's one of our perks. So there are 2 more spots. I think we have one more show that we will be accepting. If you are a $6 or above patron, you either raise your pledge to that or you become one. You're in the drawing for a free mug or a free T-shirt that's signed by us. Speaking of that, David, we have that always open D&D store, which is fun. Mm-hmm. Red shirts, awesome. Blue shirts, green shirts, mugs. They finally got my mug right.
Yeah, lots of different designs. I saw that when you posted the video.
Yeah, they finally got my mug right. So I now have 3 mugs. I gave one to my mom. She goes, how much are those mugs? I said, Mom, they're only $10. She goes, oh, well, do you want to just give me one? Yeah. Uh-huh. My mom.
Why did you ask, Mom?
Yeah. So I was, I just. Anyway. Thank you for tuning in, sharing our show with others, subscribing on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, and for being a part of the D&D family. David, would you please tell us about the D&D Survivor Challenge that is on Facebook?
It's awesome, especially if you have David.
No, gosh. You realize he has 120-something points?
Do you realize that if he had played his idol on CC, he would probably break 150?
Oh, that's crazy.
So for the 5th week in a row,
yeah,
it is 5th week, right? Yeah, 5th week.
No, because the first week was someone else. I wrote that wrong. I apologize. 4th week.
Okay, so 4th week in a row. David, no, you said 4th. I put 5th because I thought it was 5th week. So you're right. No. He has 22 points this week, so he led for the 4th week in a row.
Yep.
And surprisingly, the low score this week was Figgy with only 3 points.
Wow.
Put up, and she got in a confessional.
Yeah.
She should have gotten points there for winning 2nd place in the challenge. So I might have to ask about that. But
all right. Well, enjoy your week, everybody. Thanks for listening. See ya.
See ya.
Here's some links for you and a couple of videos. Links to the Survivor Talk website, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to become a D&D patron. There's also 2 videos here. Our recap and feedback show for episode 4 and our Star Trek Beyond episode of Movie Talk with D&D, which is a really good episode. I'm not sure why we haven't done the next Star Trek. Why haven't we done the next one, David? David, are you there? What are you doing?
Because that is the latest one.
Oh, is it?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, silly me.
There they go.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.